You're typing away.
Whatever time that YouTube decides to, put us on. What's going on, guys? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE, here joined as always by Kevin. We had to get our
Hey.
shovels out. Not shovels, that's a bad word. We had to clear some room for a third. Welcome, Mr. John Draper. What's going on, John?
Oh, it's been a really quiet couple of days, guys. How have you been?
Oh,
Quiet, what's loud?
crickets. That's all. Crickets, sir.
It's been, there's just been nothing going on. It's crazy how boring and dull the last few days have been.
Well, I guess speaking of that, it all depends on where you guys want to start this off at. Obviously, a lot going on right now. Where do you want to start it? Do you want to start with Stevie Ray Vaughan?
You know what? I don't think we have a choice. I think we have to. I don't think I have a choice anymore.
So I didn't know you guys were feuding with a blues guitarist legend.
I didn't know we were feuding with anybody. This is really funny because I told I don't think I said this last night, but I told Mish this off the air. Or I told Joe, I was texting Mish and Joey at 3:30 in the morning, which I never do. We never do this. And we were just having like a whole, tete-a-tete about this. And I said, this is like my first fight. Like I never, because I've been a part of the suit now for a couple of years, but I've not been involved in like fights with show. Like it's just not something I do. And then like this, I just didn't have a choice between the fact that it's directly affecting a blood relative, and then he's attacking the show. So I was just like, oh, this is like my first fight. Like I didn't really know how to conduct myself. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to speak more as I have to defend my brother, but I also wanted to defend the show. You know what I mean? So, they've had fights like this before. I don't know if you guys have had fights. I've never had negative reactions from podcasts. That's the thing.
Oh, I have on YouTube.
Yeah, I have.
I'm
a virgin. I don't follow YouTube. I just don't. I mean, it's childish to do that. I'm talking about like other podcasts, like hosts of podcasts going, "Hey, listen to what they said on the Wrestling Soup, everybody. These guys are assholes."
I have had somebody call me a pedophile.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. So that was a fun thing. That's been the extent. Once I started kind of coming up the stream and people started noticing me, I've had people say some pretty nasty things my way. My defense mechanism, I guess you could say, is always just to be like, fuck it and move on.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about like there's people have been negative. I'm talking about like a show, like an actual show going after like the show.
Right,
like,
I've never been in your situation where it's a blood relative is literally like being called out in the way they are.
Yeah, by a wrestler from television.
Oh, he's not a blues guitarist?
No, I wish. That'd be cool if wow. I mean, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan was awesome.
Stevie Ray Vaughan was picking on your brother to be like, yeah, okay.
Dude, that'd be amazing. I'd side with Stevie Ray Vaughan. Shit, that guy was amazing. He's got a fucking statue, for God's sake.
I was listening to Mish on Thursday for a little bit before I went to bed. And they were like, Stevie Ray. And I'm like, Stevie Ray? Who the fuck is that? And then somebody went, oh, don't you remember him? He was from Harlem Heat. And I was like, I thought he was dead.
Wow.
I didn't know the guy was still alive.
So I think Mitch cut this out. And I'm just going to say it right now. And I don't know if he cut it out or if I just didn't hear it when I listened to the replay. Up until Thursday, and I'm not making this up, and I've been watching wrestling since the 70s, I thought they were brothers in a work. I didn't realize they were actually related.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not kidding. I just assumed it was a work. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this, and it is relevant. Because unlike other brothers who like that are legit, that work in the industry, the fact that when he went so successful, Booker T, and Stevie Ray went the opposite, I just presumed that he's not hooking up his brother because they're not really brothers. This is my mindset back then. And I have not seen hide or hair of this guy since, the fucking millennium. So I don't know, I mean, what has he done? I did just up until last week, I never heard anyone mention his name. I didn't know, if he was alive, dead. I didn't know if they were brothers. I didn't know if they were friends. I didn't know. I had heard they didn't talk for a really long time. Like they had a falling out. But other than that, I never thought of this guy. And now it's like I got to fucking have a direct confrontation with this motherfucker. And it's just like, it's sad. You know what I mean? I'm not lying when I say I feel a little bad for him. I do. I really do, because I'm not convinced that he really understands what he's talking about. I'm sorry. I'm not. I think he's got a couple of young cats in there stroking his ego,
Yep.
doing all the production stuff for him, so he could just sit there and talk about how great he is. Did you guys hear him fight with Vince Russo?
Yes, I did. I heard it.
Is it as awkward as I was told? Because I refused to listen to that.
It's not a fight. It's just a large black man shouting.
That's the other thing too. I'm not, that's great that he's a big older guy. That's wonderful. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe why did Vince Russo take that? Like, what was the vibe?
Well, Vince Russo's a mark for himself. We know this.
And he's trying to pony off of Stevie Ray, just like Stevie Ray was trying to do to Vince Russo.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'll just take this a step back, because I don't know that anybody listening really knows what happened. But my whole my involvement in this was when I heard the actual people were sharing the clip on the internet of him telling my brother to suck his dick, and basically forbidding anyone to tell him to lighten up. Like, you're forbidden from telling him to, and inferring that he's going to be violent with my brother.
Exactly.
So that's all I heard. I didn't hear the preamble.
They could actually hear it. Because let's face it, that audio quality was, God. I take shits that are cleaner than that.
That was like Fisher Price fucking equipment.
It really feels to me like they have a blue snowball set up in the middle of a table and they both just scream at it.
Well, that's the other thing too, and they videotape it, and I'm just like, why do I want? I need to see Stevie Ray.
Oh,
like,
there's a videotape?
You didn't know it's video.
I only found audio. I did not find a tape.
Somebody sent me video. They videotape, like it's Fox News or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to see. And there's that fucking dude being like, yeah, so let's play the clip. Everybody, let's play it. Fucking Mancow, Matt, that fucking poser.
And when you guys mentioned Mancow, oh, my skin crawled.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He has that really radio voice. He's like, yeah, well, and then they said it was 3 years ago. Like, it really matters when you say some dumb shit. You know what I mean? And
but it all matters. It's all in fucking context.
Exactly. It's in the context. Now, mind you, I only knew snippets of what actually was said. But again, my understanding was he said something a few years ago talking about racist gimmicks, and DT and Kevin on their show said, oh, but this gimmick is racist too. You didn't say anything about that. Oh, well, why don't you just lighten up? You made a lot of money in the industry. Move on. Apparently, you're forbidden from telling him to lighten up. Well, I don't agree. I'm not forbidden from telling you anything, actually. I can tell you whatever I want. It's your choice how you choose to react after that. You don't have the right, because somebody challenged your opinion, to threaten them with violence and then tell them to suck your dick and then make homophobic slurs against them. But you won the argument? Like no, dude.
By just saying you did.
Yeah, just by saying his thing's like, I wish you'd tell me to lighten up. Like, what's being wrong with told to lighten up? Nobody likes being told to lighten up. Hey, you want to know something? I'm going to share something with you guys. I don't know if you heard this story. I may have only told this on Global Balding. I got into a fight with an old man in a supermarket, okay, because he cut in front of me, and I lost my fucking mind, okay? I'm not proud of this. I'm not bragging about it, and it's not funny, and it's not cool, but I did it. And a big older dude was two people in front of me. He was like, hey, man, why don't you calm down? Why don't you just calm down? And when he said calm down, my immediate reaction was like, go fuck yourself, because nobody likes being told to calm down. 10 minutes after the fact, I realized how wrong I was, and I felt mortified. And I realized that I was in the wrong. In the moment, I felt justified because this man cut in front of me, and he was very obnoxious about it, and I felt like I should have punched him in the fucking face. Now, I didn't punch him in the face. I didn't threaten him. I think I did threaten him. But the whole point is I was wrong. And it took me a few minutes to get myself together and go, oh, my God, that was really an embarrassing thing. Like, there were people watching it, and I was nervous that I might know some of the people. Am I going to get banned from the supermarket? Are they going to call the cops? I literally sat in my car for 10 minutes, called my wife, and went, I just did the stupidest thing. I'm so ashamed of myself. Like, I feel terrible. Like, I didn't feel proud of my behavior. Stevie Ray, the next time he goes on his show, should open his show with the exact same sentiments, going, wow, that really got me hot. I feel really bad. But what a bunch of people say about me on the internet isn't that important to me. And I made some homophobic slurs, and I said some things I shouldn't have said. So I just want to apologize to anybody that was bothered by that because I don't want to be that kind of a person. But I was really mad, and I realized I would forget about this in 5 seconds if he did that. I really would. And everybody should does. But you know what? Everybody's telling me it's not going to happen.
No. Well, right now it's whose dick's bigger. I think is the contest that you're unfortunately in.
Well, I mean, but like how does this end? You know what I mean? Like, how does this end?
I suggested last night when me and Yuck were doing our show, Thunderdome. 2 men enter, one man leaves.
They're searching
he was like, Yuck was like, just tell me what you want me to do. And I'm like, I don't know yet. Because that was my first reaction. I was like, dude, like, don't push me. Like, honestly, we have a big audience. Look, we have a big audience. Don, Tony, and Kevin have a big audience. But you know what? We also have some people that don't like us. Everybody does. And you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody does. You're not going to be that show. And the first thing I saw with Booker, I keep calling him Booker. Isn't that terrible? And the first thing I saw with Stevie Ray was like the 24 people stroking his dick in YouTube, being like, "Yeah, you showed him. You tell him what it's like. You told him."
See, but that's the whole thing, and here's what frustrates me, especially when you come into the podcast world, because Taz has a podcast. All these guys who they remember from way back when, they got a slanted opinion. But all these guys from way back when, no matter what they say and how wrong it is, there's always going to be somebody there to stroke their ego.
Right.
To be like, you're right, Taz or Stevie Ray or Vince Russo or whoever the fuck is the flavor of the day-to-day. There's always going to be somebody there that's like, no, you're right. Fuck those other guys. What do they know? Just a bunch of fucking marks on a microphone. That's all it is. And that's the unfortunate reality of it. It's always going to be that way.
And that's the problem too, is that I ultimately, and the other thing is, and I don't know how much you guys actually really know, and I'm gonna say everything. I don't care because I have no reason to lie. There was a dude, I'm not gonna mention his name because he took the stuff down.
I'm kind of involved in this.
Well,
he attacked me.
Not Matt, the other dude, like his partner who follows Booker T around.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah, that guy who tried to come off like some kind of tough guy, flamboyant, and then started sending apologies to me, like which I have screenshots of. So just to be clear, I took screenshots of him. But because he took his shit down, I have no reason to move forward on this guy. But this fucking guy fueled it even further, and that was the thing. I thought Matt Mancow and this other dude are more responsible than Stevie Ray because Mancow played it for Stevie Ray for the purpose of getting him upset and to make him say something, crazy so that people would get all riled up. That is a shit story. Yeah, he poked the bear. He gave a pyromaniac a Zippo. Period. Yep. That's what he did. That's the guy in a fist fight. That's the guy when two guys are fighting. That's the guy that is the reason why they're fighting in the first place. He's the guy who went over to the other guy and goes, "Hey, you gonna let him talk to you like that? You hear what he said? Oh, you know what he said? He said he's going to kick your ass. Yeah, dude, he's standing right over there. Why don't you go over there?" And then he stands there and watches. That's Matt. That's Matt Mancow. He stands there and watches. He starts sending Mish graphs of his ratings.
Yeah, he sent me the same thing the day before because I called him out and then the same 32 million people.
Right.
I said, "No, you fucking don't, dude."
Yeah. No, you. But you have like 2,000 Twitter followers. Explain that to me.
Exactly.
Like the math doesn't add up. This
math was done by an epileptic monkey.
Well, the other thing is they're obviously buying views, but the other thing of it is,
people
like Joey
don't do that.
Well, Joey pointed out today, he's like, these aren't people, they're not fans of yours, not listeners. They sampled you. They watched the clip on. I mean, like, if I watch 30 beheadings of jihadi beheadings, am I a fan of jihad, or did I just watch you know what I'm saying? Like, explain that to me. If I watch a clip of two dwarves, chainsaw fighting, and watch it 3 more times, am I now an aficionado of the chainsaw fighting dwarfs, or was it a fucking freak thing that I watched that I moved on with my life? This guy is basically saying because a bunch of people sampled him that they now are huge aficionados of the show. I've had one person, say something negative to me. A single person. How is that humanly possible? And I told this dude, I go, you're the one person. I go, you're 1 out of 32 million. You should play the lottery.
Yeah.
Because you're the only person defending these people. I mean, these dudes are sad, man. Look, I don't. They both have relationships with the Huffman brothers. That's the deal. One of them, I think, travels with them or does Booker T's podcast, and the other one does Steve Ray's podcast. If that's what their station in life is, good for you. That's awesome. You know what? We don't have a show like that. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to, we had Ellsworth on, and then a month later he becomes like a principal guy in WWE. Now, I'm not saying that we can get Ellsworth on tomorrow, but that was a cool thing. I thought that was cool that we had Ellsworth on. You know what I mean? I thought it was pretty cool. We don't have that kind of show. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we don't have that kind of show. You know what I mean? People can say my boy from the Hard Times isn't the greatest interview in the world, but he just got 3 TV deals, and his website is in like 5 magazines from Forbes to like Rolling Stone. So he's kind of like an important dude. He's on the up and up. He's going to probably have a couple of TV shows in the future, and maybe a lot of people will go, oh, wasn't that guy in the Soup once? You know what I mean? But we don't. Joey knows tons of wrestlers in the really real world, tons. You know why? Because he's in the industry. But we don't tout these people out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't drag people out and be like, oh, Joey actually spoke to so-and-so a couple weeks ago. Let's talk about it and drag it all out. This is their claim to fame, these dudes. They carry the water for Booker T and Stevie Ray. Well, that's cool. We don't carry anybody's water. You know what I mean? We're not looking to get that position. If that's their station in life, then let them be happy with it. But don't start fucking throwing stones and start taking a moral high ground because you found a picture of Don Tony at 15 in 1985 in blackface with his black friends posing as Run DMC. I mean, that doesn't give you a moral high ground. If anything, that's kind of creepy that you would even bring that up.
Yeah.
I think that's weird. I think it's weird. I don't know. I mean, was it a stupid thing for him to do in 1985? Yeah, but I think a lot of people did a lot of stupid things at 14 in 1985. Booker T almost killed a bunch of people. Should we not, like, why is it okay for Booker T to rob a bunch of people with a gun, and it's not okay for Don Tony to be like, wow, I did a dumb thing, and I was with, and by the way, they did that whole out of context too. They never once inferred what the context was, or the fact that he was a minor, that you're sharing the picture of a child. Essentially, what's a child? You're taking a picture of an underage person and sharing it on the internet. That's not a problem. You can do that. Can I take a picture of your 14-year-old niece and share it with people to make fun of her? Is that something that I could do, regardless of what it is? Am I allowed to do that? Because I don't think I am.
Not in my world.
Well, and also, how about taking the content? Why are you sharing somebody else's content? Did you get permission for the content? And this dude, did you guys hear what he said about the YouTube stuff?
No.
That the YouTube wrestling content thing didn't happen? That it's made up?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yep.
You didn't hear about that?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. The YouTube wrestling content thing didn't happen. It's made up.
What? Well, what? Yeah, like that. You're not allowed to have wrestling shows on YouTube anymore.
Well, the monetization.
Yeah, the monetization of it. He said that's made up. He said it's completely wrong. People who are saying that are lying.
Well, you can send him my way, and I will show him all of my videos that are now demonetized that have anything to do with wrestling.
No. Matt Mancow from Title Match says you're lying. You're lying. He said you're wrong. What you say is incorrect. Well, that's the thing. He's basically, that's how far this is going now. He's basically saying that they have 32 million views.
Now, this is legit Mancow, like Mancow in the morning Mancow.
No, this is a guy whose voice is as annoying as Mancow.
So we're just calling him Mancow because
I call him Matt Mancow.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, I call him Matt Mancow.
Is this just shock jock shit?
Yes.
Is that all this is?
You think so?
I'm going to say these things just to shock people. Because let's face it, there's no shortage of knowing. All you got to do is go on Spreaker, go on Stitcher, go on any of these sites and look up, who are the top sports shows, and right away pops up Soup and Don Tony. So, there's no doubt that you guys are the top wrestling show, because that just the numbers say that.
Not a question.
Well, this dude said he never heard of Soup, which is fine. I'm sure he hadn't.
And he's lying.
And then he basically said, whatchamacallit, that he had only heard of Don Tony. That Don Tony was the only person he had heard of. Now, I don't even understand like this really put this into some kind of context, because What provoked him to find the clip from 3 years ago to go after D'Antoni in the first place? Or to
And that's
find
my
photos
question:
of him?
is this a
weird.
fame grab? You know what
It's
I mean?
weird.
Who
Yes.
always attack the person who's on top and try to make them look like pieces of shit. It happens on you. It used to just look at the gaming scene on YouTube. That's all
Yeah.
it was, is people to try to get big. I mean, although T Martin and Pro Syndicate and PewDiePie have done some
Right.
pretty bad shit, no doubt. But that's all it was. Is I'm gonna make my name. There's I don't know, probably 24 people on YouTube that made their name on doing nothing but bashing T Martin, Pro Syndicate, PewDiePie. I mean, the list goes on and on. So is this just a fame grab? Hey, my show's not doing so well, even though somehow I have 32 million subscribers or whatever his plight is.
32 million. I think it was 32 million
30.
YouTube YouTube downloads or whatever the fuck it was.
YouTube.
Views. 32 million. Yeah, 30. So the country of Peru has downloaded his YouTube views.
Woohoo!
So here, look at who he's associating with, though.
But that's
Booker
my
T-
question. Is he using this to go,
I
I'm going to
think-
attack these higher ups, and therefore that will elevate me somehow?
More than likely, because look at okay, Stevie Ray's career. If he didn't have Booker T, where would he have been?
Right.
Lower card at best. Having Booker T,
Dude, he might
Yeah,
not be even
sure. Hold on,
in
hold on.
the goddamn. He might not even be in the conversation if he doesn't have Booker T.
Right.
you're right. You're right, and having Sherry at the time, then the NWO, which was a big deal, and Hulk Hogan. Look at what Matt Mancow is. He's swinging off of Stevie Ray's dick, vice versa. Well, here's a guy for Stevie Ray to remain relevant. These are all the same kind of patterns. But Stevie Ray did the same thing to Booker, to Hogan, to NWO. These are the same type of people, but mind you, they're also Russo people too. These are the same people.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. It's like I heard about this. Like I refuse. First of all, I want to be very clear here, so nobody misunderstands. I absolutely think Vince Russo is a piece of garbage. I
He
don't like
is.
Vince Russo. I am embarrassed to be an Italian from New York with Vince Russo. Like I really am. I honest to God am. I'm not
He's
that
in
much.
my
I'm not
stage.
that much. I'm not that much
He's in
younger
my
than Vince
stage.
Russo. Like Vince Russo is in my wheelhouse, geography wise, hereditary wise, age wise. But I could think of a few principal differences, like when we both open our mouth. I think that's the biggest principal difference. So I am in no way going to defend Vince Russo. But for Stevie Ray, okay, to bumble his way into the podcast world, and I think he bumbled into it. I don't think he has just from the audio production, I could tell this is not something he takes very
I
seriously.
have better audio production, and I sit in a goddamn closet.
Right. So, but I'm just saying, like, I could just tell, right? For Stevie Ray to get Vince Russo on to yell at him about David Arquette in 2017 is he might as well just go outside and yell at clouds and just be like, just yell at the atmosphere for it raining, because I don't understand the relevancy of him. Like, what could he possibly have to contribute to the business that he has not been a part of since Clinton was president? Like what? Like tell me what he's going to tell. What life lesson am I going to learn from this man? I don't know anything about him personally. I don't even think he's a bad or a good guy necessarily. But I think at 50 fucking 9 years old, okay, 59-year-old on a podcast, threatening two guineas from Queens that you never met, telling them to suck your dick, making prejudicial, homophobic slurs with no shame, no recourse, no apologies, no nothing, speaks volumes about what kind of a human being that guy is.
Exactly.
Speaks volumes. All he needed to do was go on the internet the next day and say, man, I got hot. Sometimes people, get under your skin. Hope nobody's upset. I don't mean to offend anybody. I would have been done. Over. Nowhere to go. I'm boxed out now. Guy apologized. I'm boxed out. But instead, you got Mancow. You got this other dude who has a picture with a chick that I'm supposed to believe he's fucking in his fucking profile pic, which I doubt it's probably a cousin. And they're fucking baiting us in, telling us that we're 40-year-olds that live in our basements. It's like, here we go. Then making fun of Joey for being like, dude, I have a fucking master's degree in own property. And the guy's like, oh, look at him. He's saying he has a job. Oh, look at these guys are hilarious. These kids are really funny, Booker T.
It's so funny.
No,
he has a job and
yeah,
everything.
it's so funny. He's got he has an accelerated degree. Like, yeah, dude, he's got a master's degree in education. Like, what do you have? What did you order from Whole Foods for Booker T this week? Like, what did Stevie Ray get from Trader Joe's? What time you have to pick him up from the airport? You know what I mean? Like how many misspellings in his blog did you have to fix?
I honestly think this is a fame grab. I mean, the more I hear about it, the more that's exactly what it is. It's a fame grab.
I got to disagree with you, Wookie. I'll tell you why. I think these guys are so delusional that worked in the business, and I don't care if it's like, you know, a dude who worked in WCW or ECW, that they have a one-track mind. And their thing is, I worked in the business, you didn't. You're a mark. You live in your mom's basement. You're a 40-year-old virgin. You never got in the ring. You can't say anything to me. You can't. You can't. Shut up. You're wrong. I don't care who you are. You're wrong. You're wrong. That's what I think it is. And I've seen this from these guys time and time and time again. And they're all guilty of it. And, you know, maybe they're right to some degree. Maybe they're right. Maybe they are. I don't know. I never got in the ring. I don't know what that's like. I really don't. But that doesn't mean that I can't have a fucking opinion about someone who got in the ring. That doesn't mean I can't have a... Does that mean... I mean, like, these guys act like anybody who comments on things is an accelerated expert in it to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, so like what? You have to... Only wrestlers can talk about wrestling and everybody else can... Because they're so bitter that anybody else would make money or get attention from the industry. That's what it comes down to. This fucking guy made so much money bleeding that company dry. He was a part of that Bishaw. Let's give everybody guaranteed contracts for 6 figures deep for years to come. This guy got paid to sit home close to fucking 7 figures, dude. Think about that. That's the kind of money this guy made. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have took the money. I'm not saying that, oh, well, you know, you should only got a third of the money. I'm saying act like it. Have some fucking humility and go, you know what? I made a good buck in this business at one point, man. Shit, we were living high on the hog. Back in the NWO days, man, we were making so much money. I was barely wrestling. There were times I didn't even have to get changed. I literally just walked out in a T-shirt, stood around with Hogan, cut a promo, cut in the back, and I got a check. It was amazing. That, to me, like, that's a stand-up thing to say. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, man, you know, I mean, I know it's a little bit much to ask, to be honest. I know that's like, this guy thinks he's an iconic member of the industry. Like, he thinks he's his brother. No, that's the fucking problem. No. He thinks he's Booker T.
Yeah, and I got the war with me started with when I said they were poaching. There was a poach. Mm-hmm. And then he started railing it on me, and I'm like, you can say whatever you want to say, you know, whatever, but you're still wrong on every level. You're still wrong.
And here's the thing that's funny is this guy that supposedly has 32 million downloads, subscribers, whatever the fuck he wants to call it. I have 32 million, but yet I'm going to come on the level of a guy. I don't even know how many subscribers we got right now. We have 30 followers on the actual rope site. Obviously, over here on YouTube, we're working our way up to 3,000. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is a guy that's like, I have 32 million followers, downloads, whatever. But I'm gonna fuck with this guy who literally has 30 followers. Get the fuck out of here. Go home. Go bark at clouds.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, like, I don't. I mean, you never really know people's motivations. I think it was a very gotcha thing. I think Mancow was like, no, we got that Don Tony guy. I hate that fucking guinea bastard. Why don't we, you know what? He's such an asshole. Let's, why don't we do this? We'll play that thing, we'll Stevie Ray, and then let Stevie Ray respond. And then everybody will be like, yeah, go get him, Stevie. That'll be great. Yeah, well, why don't we do that?
That just seems like so much work to find a picture from how many years ago? 15, 20 years ago?
35 years ago, man.
I'm sorry, 35 years ago. My bad.
35.
That's both of those guys weren't even alive.
Work. Both of those guys are under 35. He wants to make social commentary on something happened before he was alive? Like, what the fuck is that? Do I have to go around talking about World War II? I mean, like, what the fuck? I don't have a big opinion on the Korean War since I wasn't born, but I'm gonna let me give you my social commentary on it. Well, I mean, like, what the fuck, dude? And by the way, I'm not even trying to sugarcoat the Don Tony stuff. This is not a Don Tony issue. This is not. This is what he said about my brother. This is what he threatened to do to my brother, and this is what he inferred about my brother. By proxy, you're doing that to me. You're basically, by proxy, you're doing that to me. And that was the thing that got Mish and Joey so hot, as if they would be in business with people who are outward racist. You know what I mean? And Mish's whole thing is
Mish on a horse, like in Braveheart during this whole thing.
Well, Mish's whole thing was like,
could you imagine a 17-foot Asian on a horse with his face painted blue?
Mish on a horse sounds like a scary thing. Like that's like Andre and Princess Bride. It's got to be some horse.
Your brother seeing what I was taking on Twitter from that piece of shit, Matt Mancow, and sent me a really nice message on Twitter. And he didn't have to. He didn't have to. But it shows that, the type of people we're talking about. Good people compared to parasites. That's to me what it boils down to.
See, and that's why I'm looking at this. I'm like, is this a guy that's just trying to get himself over? And he just found something dumb that happened 30 some odd years ago and was like, oh, there it is. That's who we'll target, and we'll get ourselves over from there.
Like, really?
Yeah. Well, you're using you need to get over by painting like my brother as racist.
Yeah.
Like, what? No.
Well, that's how. But I'm just saying that's how insignificant he really is in the wrestling world. I mean, literally, when the name Stevie Ray came out of Mish's mouth on Thursday, I did not know who he was talking about until I think it was OMT brother. What's going on? He's in the chat. Said, "Oh, from Harlem Heat," and I literally went, "Oh my god! I thought he was dead."
Yeah,
I had no idea he was still alive, still around, still kicking rocks.
Now, here's the thing: could he actually be dead, and that those guys are just like they're doing like a weekend at Bernie's? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just found some dude and made him pretend to be Stevie Ray. Because how would we even know?
And they're just taking sound clips from his old WCW days.
Yeah, like sucker. Like, you know what I mean?
And that's how they're getting away with the poor audio. This is our audio, and it's just poor because.
Wait a minute. Do you think that's why the audio is bad because the clips are so old?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how they're masking it all.
Some microfiche.
Oh my god! I think they do the weekend at Bernie and us. That's the thing. They're fucking weekend at Bernie and us. Those motherfuckers. They're weekend at Bernie.
And we fell for it.
We stepped right in it.
Yeah, and the guy that's in the video is actually just a cardboard cutout, like they did in Home Alone.
Yeah.
You remember when he did the whole thing in the bathroom?
Oh my god.
Wow,
Home Alone wasn't even out in theaters yet when Don Tony was in blackface. Just to give you.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not taking up for that. That's never going to happen out of my mouth. Don Tony doesn't need me to take up for him. I think, but to leave out the entire context behind that, to completely leave out the age, the time it was done, the age of the person that did it, and the context behind it, is some fucking race baiting, clickbaiting bullshit.
Yeah.
Period.
And Mish pointed that out very well on Twitter.
Sorry. There's a big difference between a 14-year-old's two black friends going, we want you to go with us to Halloween party as Run DMC, so you have to be black. So we're going to make you black. And then doing this, by the way, and not that this was cool in 1985, but it doesn't matter. But there's a huge difference between doing this in 1985 and doing this in 2017. I think we can all agree with this.
Yeah.
Pretty big difference, right? So, and then Don Tony to even admit this in his life and be like, yeah, I did it. It was stupid. I was a kid. I loved Run DMC. They were huge. It was 1985.
I'm wearing a Run DMC shirt right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's just like, but can you imagine, like, now if Stevie Ray took that picture out of show, like, here's a picture of Don Tony, blah, 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 and said, well, supposedly obviously it's a long time ago because he's holding a beatbox and the picture looks old as fuck, and he looks like to be a kid here. So this is something he did as a kid. But anyway, this is a stupid thing to do, but he did this as a kid. Would that have had the same impact as going, look, he's in blackface. Look, everybody, this is Don Tony. And then moving on to yell at him, like no context, nothing, zero context.
Well, here's the thing: 10 years ago, would this even matter?
It might. I think.
You think so? Still,
I think it. I think so. Yeah, I think it's.
I just think today everyone's so quick to be
1985.
like,
It wasn't great, but that we didn't have social media.
Right, but now everyone's so quick to get offended by everything.
Ted Danson did it in the 90s when he was dating Whoopi Goldberg. They went to a party, and he wore his blackface, and he roasted her at the Friars Club. And people got very fucking upset. People got real. This was in the mid 90s, early 90s. People got very upset.
That's different. That's Ted Danza.
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson. Cheers.
Yeah,
from Cheers.
Sorry.
People were. This was on the cover because Friars Club's in New York City. I live in New York City. This was on the cover of all the newspapers. This was a story for a while. Ted Danson was like, I'm mortified. This was, I'm in a relationship with Whoopi Goldberg. She was getting honored at the Friars Club. Whoopi Goldberg went on TV the next day and said, shit, I thought it was funny. And that was, that maybe saved Ted Danson a little bit.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? Dude, one of my other brothers, I have a lot of like real brothers. And I was talking to him tonight, and he had heard about this thing with Stevie Ray. And when I told him about the blackface thing, he said, you know what would put an end to this, don't you? And I go, no. He goes, if the two guys that were friends with Don Tony went on his show and said, man, like, this is really stupid. Like, the two guys who are black who told Don Tony to do this as his friends. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm like, I could see like in some respects where that might make sense. But I think that's, if life was a TV show, that's what would happen. The two black friends of Don Tony's would be like, whoa, wait a minute. We did this in 1985, dude. Like, we're like middle-aged men now. Like, nobody thinks this is cool now. And we were just kids then. We didn't know any better, But I love how this fucking guy does that. And then the lighten up, like, you can't be told. Who are you that you're above being told anything? I thought any man could be told anything. I didn't realize that you're above being told you're wrong. I didn't realize that. Like, what made you think that you were above being told to lighten up?
Well, he carries Booker T's bags.
No, I don't think they're even. I got news. I don't think they're even close.
Come on.
I don't think they are either.
Think of the slapjack. That's what he's carrying.
I don't think they're close. I don't. I heard from a lot of people that they did not literally speak for like 10 straight years. 10 years. And that's nobody's business. You know what I mean? They could be best friends and love each other to death, which they should, and that'd be wonderful. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry. When you say what this guy said, you come off a very bitter, angry, out of touch man. You know what I mean? And I tweeted, right? And this dude's like, oh, you won't tweet at Stevie Ray. I was like, tick, 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 tick. Because I was like, and before you block me, tick, 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 tick. Haven't heard a fucking thing. And I'm not blocked. So I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit of an ass raping on Wednesday on this show. I might. But what are you gonna say about me? I'm wrong for defending my brother from you saying that you want to suck your dick. Like, what are you going to say about it?
Where does your brother even come into this?
Well, because he told Booker, I keep saying Booker T. Jesus fucking Christ. This is how removed he is from the lexicon of life. In the clip from 3 years ago, where Stevie Ray gave an interview talking about how this gimmick is racist and this gimmick is racist, Don Tony and my brother's retort, in a nutshell, was, well, there's other racist gimmicks, and I didn't hear you say anything about those, but whatever. You know what? You made a lot of money in this business. Maybe you should just lighten up. And this sent him to the moon. Like, this was like, he was like, who are you to tell me to lighten up? And blah, 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 blah. Well, with guys that know what you did in the industry, that we were, and that's the other thing I told Stevie Ray. I go, hey, dude, I was around. I was there. I liked you. I saw your team. I know what you brought to the industry and what you didn't bring, dude. Like, maybe these other people just saw you in an NWO shirt and thought you were a marquee guy. Do you ever think of that? Because really, if you weren't around and you hear, like, I know I'm older than you guys, but like, if you're 25 and you hear about things like the Monday Night Wars, right? Mm-hmm. Do you really, outside of, what WWE tells you and what you could find, do you really have a good concept as to who was over and who wasn't over and who was big player? I'm sorry, from the obvious, the Rocks, the Stone Colds, the Hogans, the Nash, whatever. But
I do. I remember.
Right, but I'm saying if you're not 25. If you're 25 today and you like and you're a social media person and you're on podcasts and you're listening all the time, and you hear that this guy, his brother's Booker T, you're like, oh, I've heard of Booker T. That guy was a champion. That guy's fine. He's a commentator. And they were a tag team called Harlem Heat, and they were 12-time WCW champions. Holy shit! And he held the U.S. title once. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, this guy must have been he was an NWO. This guy must have been a huge player in the industry.
U.S. title around to everyone back then.
But everyone was in the NWO.
No, but I'm saying if you don't know, I'm at 25. How do you know?
You don't realize his relevance, or I'm sorry, his irrelevance.
Do you know the difference between Scotty Riggs and Scott Norton? If you're 25 in WCW lineage in 1998, was Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko, were they headliners or were they openers? Were they curtain jerkers or were they in major story angles? Who were the Four Horsemen back then? Do you know who they were? Like you don't have a concept. Who was the champ then? Are you sure? Was it Hogan? Was it Luger? Was it Sting? Was it Flair? Who had the belt? Was it Nash? Well, when did Goldberg get the belt? Who did he actually beat? Like, you may not have this lineage. You may not have this history.
Working knowledge of it.
Right, exactly. I was there. I saw all of this. I watched 2 shows at the same fucking time every Monday for years. I taped one in one room and watched the one in the other room for fucking years. Years.
Which is why when I think of Stevie Ray, I always think of the slapjack.
Oh, yeah, that was towards the end, right?
I mean, it was so stupid, too.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think about. There's nothing more.
And the tape on their nose, right? Didn't he have tape on his nose?
And calling everyone sucker and
the sucker, calling everybody sucker. I mean, they're really more known for calling Hulk Hogan the N-word.
Yep. He was right
if I'm in my 20s, I just know them from that clip, right? I mean, what else do I know them from? Well, Booker T using the N-word on Hogan to mean Gene Okerlund. So it's like I do feel like
is that now.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny actually. Yeah. Oh, and I didn't know that he cut a 20-minute promo defending Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
So Hulk Hogan's cool.
That he forgave him.
Oh, he forgave him? Was he ever mad at him in the first place?
Who knows?
Really? A lot of people say mad at Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's not a good guy.
No, he's not.
He's a bad person. He's not a good man.
Miserable human being.
Yeah. Look what he said about hurricane victims.
Yeah.
You know, it's Stevie Ray. It's Stevie Ray because his town just got killed by a hurricane. Is he going to forgive Hulk Hogan for saying the Irma victims need to stop complaining? You know what I mean? Because that's kind of an irresponsible thing to say. That has more of an impact on Stevie Ray, I would imagine, than what a fucking guinea from Queens says about him that doesn't know him, that he hasn't known for 30 years. It's just this selected memory of these guys. I think they live. Dude, you have all these people kissing your ass for menial reasons. I mean, what do you expect them? How do you expect them to fucking process regular thoughts? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you, Stevie Ray thinks he's probably completely justified.
Oh, it's the entitlement that he has because of what you said earlier. That I was in the ring, I wrestled, so I know more than you. It's the entitlement.
And you know what? You know more of me about than maybe matches. Sure, okay, that's cool. But if and New Japan has a card tomorrow night, who do you want to hear give a review of it? Stevie Ray or Dave Meltzer? Whose review are you going to read? Tell me, and why? Because he knows more than Stevie Ray, right?
I would. Kinda. Yes, I would say that. Yeah, because he's had, he's a reporter. He's been around for a much longer time than Stevie Ray has. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's sad.
I never found Stevie Ray to be an engaging person. Number one.
Right. Well, he'd still have a fucking job in the industry if he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he would. He doesn't seem to ever strike me as, ooh, I can't wait to hear the words of Stevie Ray.
Yeah, like the comedic stylings of Stevie Ray Huffman, ladies and gentlemen. The comedy stylings. You guys got to read some of the YouTube clips, like of everybody sucking his balls, and being like, I always knew Don Tony was a racist. I always knew he was a racist. I always knew those guys.
The thing. There's been people calling Don Tony a racist for ever now, well before this.
Yeah.
And now this has just stirred the pot a little bit more. See, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
This is like proof positive. Yeah, all he did was, I mean, and Joey said this, and I said this, and I'll say it again. I am not going to sit here and say that everything that my brother Don Tony says is fine, and I agree with everything they say. That's not the point. But I will not sit here and let you paint them as racist because they have different opinion than a guy a dude who wrestled in the industry who happens to be black, who thinks because of that you can't tell him he's wrong about anything. Like, that's not how life works.
So after he went and attacked Don Tony, did he go attack Vince McMahon for dropping an N-bomb on live TV?
I guess he forgave him too.
Oh,
the only person he doesn't forgive is Kevin.
So the people he can make money on, well, Patrón, you are forgiven. But if he can't make money off you, well, to hell with you. I'm going to try to steal your fame.
Right. The people he can make money off of, he's got no problem forgiving them through and through publicly. Guys that are making money off the industry in his mind that are popular, because last I checked, he can't get in Rolling Stone, and he's not going to be. No one's going to put him on a UFC clip about talking about anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? I hate to say this, and I might be a little biased here, but they're more popular in wrestling than he is. They are. They are. They are. And you know what? I might regret saying this. I think we are too. So
I don't think you would regret in saying that. Like I said,
I
thought the man was dead.
I think the soup is more popular. I'm sorry. And that's not offensive. I'm not trying to suck my own dick. But I think your podcast, no one knew in our world that it really existed until you made fun of us. So what does that tell you? Because you obviously had people sending this to you. This dude was getting bashed yesterday. I mean, they were getting bashed. Right. This other dude was deleting stuff. Man, I don't know if he's got a personal assistant or what, but he was wiping stuff off the end. He was apologizing with one hand and deleting with the other. We didn't do any of that. So when you start doing that, he's like trying to take the high road saying, hey, love is love. I'm like, love is love. You just had a guy on the show tell my brother to suck your dick. Where is love is love? So, like, where's the apology to my family? Who's apologizing? I didn't do it. No, but you thought it was funny that your buddy did it, right? Your broadcast partner. The guy's like, oh, we're all in business together. We have shows, and that's why I have to stick up for my friends. And then Mish was like, well, you chose the wrong side. You know what I mean? Because, sorry, you chose the wrong side. And this dude, I mean, this guy, like I said, I'm not even going to mention his name because he completely has done a 180. Mancow, not so much. Mancow is sticking in the trenches. I guarantee you, we pop a ratings for this guy on Wednesday when he goes to record. I guarantee you.
You will too.
Guarantee you. And I bet you one of two things is going to happen Wednesday. They're either going to say too much or nothing at all. There's going to be no in between with these guys. Stevie Ray is either going to further infuriate. Stevie Ray is probably going to challenge me to a fist fight. Okay. Which, by the way, I would accept. There's not a single part of me. A 60-year-old guy wants to fight me, I'm down anytime. Like I know math. You know what I mean? Not that I'm in a rush to get punched in the face by a 300-pound, 6'5" guy, but I know math. And something tells me he hasn't kept up with his physicality. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. So anytime if he wants to punch me in the face, do it all day long. It's not going to change my opinion. I'm still gonna be sitting here saying the same shit afterwards. So he's not going to physically threaten me. And I took a look at Mancow. Pretty sure he's not going to do anything either. But here's the difference. No one in our world is physically threatening people or telling them to suck their dicks or any of that other stuff. We are reacting to a circumstance that we found was really offensive. And that these motherfuckers stepped over a line without really doing their homework. Start sending graphs of his ratings. Like, what the fuck is that shit?
Exactly.
You know, and his retorts were just terrible, weren't they, bro? Weren't his retorts just the worst?
I couldn't hear him because the audio quality was fucking atrocious.
On Twitter.
No, his Twitter retorts.
Oh, his Twitter retorts? I thought you were talking about his shit on. I did not understand a word that was being said. Like,
wait, you don't speak.
I don't speak Arby's bathroom. Okay,
it sounds like a bathroom, right?
Yeah, it does. It sounds like they were literally recorded like in an Arby's bathroom that had free Wi-Fi.
Maybe it isn't a bathroom.
Somewhere that has free Wi-Fi. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. Take your pick.
Fuck it. I'm saying Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers.
I'm saying Roy Rogers. Dude, do you think? What do you guys think? What's the? Make a prediction. What happens Wednesday on that show?
They're avoiding it.
I think they will. I think they might.
Avoiding it.
I think they might.
It's gonna go one of two ways. If they avoid it because they don't want more backlash, I think it means that they were just looking for a pop.
Yep.
They were just they targeted somebody that they think they had something on, and this can get us on the map.
Yeah.
Because what does he really have to offer? I mean, if you look at a lot of the podcasts, Don Tony and your brother have been doing it for forever. Soup's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, longer than these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you look at the other ones that are on top. Who else? Who do you got on there?
Jason.
Here we go.
Oh. Hold on a second.
Some king for some bling.
Now Shane McMahon with his opinion.
Thank you very much, Mish, for the $5 donation.
Oh, it's Mish.
It was Mish. He's I think. Well, I'm surprised the comment didn't say "now take off your shirt," but I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't need that coming back. But I honestly think that he's just looking for it. But then if you go, who am I thinking of? Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard has something to offer you. He can give you some insight into what was going on backstage all those years ago, up until 2007, 8?
Maybe, yeah. I think
Ish.
that's 7.
Yeah. Because Vince McMahon's man. Well, I mean, right next to him.
Right. No. And that's what I'm saying. But, like, if you look, Sam Roberts, now in the business, has something to offer you because he's got something. You know what I mean? All these guys have something to offer. You know, the Soup offers comedy. You know, if you don't want to just talk about wrestling, maybe you want to sprinkle a little something in. Yeah, it's there. You know what I mean? So all these shows offer something. What does Stevie Ray Vaughan really offer?
Anger.
He's angry, and he can scream, and you can hear him from the end of a hallway if you so desire.
And he could beat us all up.
And he could beat you all up.
You could beat me up. That's awesome. You could beat me up. So what?
Stand Up Greatness? Is that what his show is called?
Stand Up to Greatness. It's actually, I believe it's called Stand Up to Greatness. That means that I'm opposing greatness. This is why I don't think he's a very smart man. I'm pretty sure it's called Stand Up to Greatness.
So my question is for everyone out there.
How do you stand up to great? Would it be stand up? And it's not stand up for greatness because people aren't against greatness. Could somebody explain that to me? What does that even fucking mean?
When the MLB has support breast cancer, whatever day for Mother's Day down in the baseball season, I go, I don't support breast cancer at all. Actually, I don't want women to get that at all. So maybe it's the same thing as Stevie Ray right there. Maybe he's standing up to greatness. So that makes sense.
It's standing up. It's stand up to greatness. I don't know. Yeah, see, I said, it's funny. I said he was 6'5". He is 6'5". Damn, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. I'm sure he can kick my ass, no problem. And even at 59. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna be fucking scared of you, dude. That doesn't mean I'm gonna let you fucking tell my brother to fucking suck your dick and infer he's a racist. Like, sorry.
No, you're right. No,
that doesn't give you a green light to be
how many members are there of the Draper family?
The Drapers?
Well, you get my point. I don't know how much kayfabe you want me breaking here. How many are in the crew?
I have like 9. Stand on to greatness. Oh, stand up for greatness. Okay, can we? I'm sorry. I have to do this. I'm sorry. Stand up for greatness because standing up for something means that you're taking a stance for something, right? So stand up for tragedy or something. You don't stand up for greatness. There's a fucking actual grammatic error in there. I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm wrong. Stand up for greatness. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Stand Up for Greatness is the name of his show. That's the name of his show. Stand Up for Greatness. Yeah. Stand Up for Greatness is the name of his show. And what do you know? The topic that he talked about, my brother on, was racism topic.
Racism in wrestling, wasn't it?
Racism in wrestling. So his show is called Stand Up for Greatness. Does that make grammatic sense? I mean, I was a theater arts man. I wasn't an English major, but I feel like that's not with Matt Tupolowski, Stevie Ray.
Yeah, I refuse to say his.
No, I'll say it. Matt. He's got. Oh, by the way, on this platform, he's got 7,000 downloads. Just want to clear that up, you guys.
7,000 total.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Go to the website. 7,000. So he's a couple. He's a couple mils short.
I just looked it up at a couple of the search engines, and I'm gonna tell you what, Stevie Ray. You ain't beating out Jesus because Stand Up for Christ comes number 1. Yeah. At least in Spreaker and Stitcher. I just typed
Stand Up for Christ or?
Yeah, Stand Up for Christ. I typed in Stand Up for Greatness just in their little search, whatever it happened to be. And he doesn't even show up.
Well, he's got 7,043 downloads. So take it for what it's worth, peeps. He's got his 9 episodes, a total of 7,000. Yeah. Math is an interesting thing.
Yep.
It's really
That's
tough.
the thing about math. Math is tough to
For some
break.
Math is
people, it
tough.
is apparently. I mean, we're seeing that.
Math is math's a motherfucker, man. Like, honestly, like, math is a motherfucker. It really, really is. I mean, wow, he's born in 58, dude. He was born like rock and roll was started in what, like 57? Like, dude. And he was billed from Harlem. Always loved that they were not from actually Harlem. And wow, I mean, apparently he cut like a promo on Hulk Hogan. Oh, the Hulk Hogan promo. Yeah. And man, look, man, he did some cool things in the industry. I love his brother to death. Love him. I'm a huge fan. I was a fan of his tag team. I'm not a fan of a man like that thinks he's above reproach. I'm not a fan of a man like that thinks he's entitled to say things that are completely inappropriate and offensive. The fact that he callously threw anti-gay remarks out like that in 2017 speaks volumes about that motherfucker.
In this society we live in nowadays.
I mean, like, I agree. We live in a very PC culture.
We do.
You'll have to go really, really far to find anything of me ever saying anything like that in any capacity. Okay. Period. Okay. And I am not a PC culture person. I'm just not that stupid either.
See,
all right.
I love Miss. She's like, math is difficult. Mathematicians are still trying to figure out how numbers work. No.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They
math
know how
is a
numbers
really cool
work.
thing.
I went to school. I have a degree in mathematics. We pretty much know how math works.
Yeah.
It's that whole physics thing where they start making shit up. That's where you get into trouble.
Yeah.
But
Stand up for greatness. Who is he referring to himself as greatness?
Well, see,
I have so many
okay, so
problems
here's
with
my
this.
next
I gotta go on that
question
show.
this.
Hey, Man Cow, if you're listening, I'll come on your show. And I won't apologize, and I'm not gonna get nervous. Believe me. I'm gonna bring my friend Math. I'm gonna bring my friend. Hey, Matt, I'm gonna bring my friend Math. Matt, have you met Math? No, you guys never met, huh? Oh, okay.
We have John Draper and Math.
The statistics don't lie.
I'm going to bring my friend Math on your show because apparently your show is devoid of math.
Well, here's my question, because now I'm getting to think about this a little bit. And you're saying he feels entitled, so on and so forth. What about maybe this dude's clock has been cleaned one too many times, and now he's just crazy?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he has
I'm
concussion
just
syndrome.
thinking,
CTE.
CTE
He's not a
is
young
big
guy,
thing.
man. He's not a young guy.
I'm sure he took some nasty bumps on the indies after WCW went straight to shit.
Sure he did. And you know what? I bet you he gets down. I'm sure he knows how to fight. I'm sure when push comes to shove, that's not a man you want angry at you. I don't want him angry.
I'm wondering if he's got a touch of the CTE and his brain's basically liquefying.
Joey said this too. Like we're convinced that he's not really sure what the internet is or what a podcast is because the way he's conducting himself. Like does he even know does he think he's on the radio? Like, does he know what the fuck's going on? Like, honestly, like, cause I don't think he's that smart. Sorry. Cause if you were that smart, you wouldn't have did what you did. You wouldn't have said what you said. So right off the bat, you're not that smart. And by the way, everybody says shit they don't mean, but you know what you do afterwards? You go, hey man, I fucked up. I didn't mean that. I don't know why I said that.
Sit and spin for greatness.
Sit and spin for greatness.
Oh my God, that is fantastic. Matt Sit and spin for greatness.
Matt Tupolewski.
I have a sit and spin.
Matt Tupolewski. Fuck out of here. Matt, I hate Matt Tupolewski.
Yeah, you said what? They had 7,000 downloads?
7,000.
And he's claiming 32 million?
32 million.
And how many do we have to go?
I don't know. I don't know. That's quite a bit. I may need to actually get an abacus to get that figured out.
Get an abacus. Well, I have a calculator right here. We can figure this shit out.
He's a little shy on those downloads.
32
million.
Dude,
if he had 32 million listeners, like, can you imagine? Like, he would be like Taylor Swift. He'd be like, well, we were doing the math. We were like, he has 2.5 times the average of the WWE followers on Twitter.
He only needs 31,993,000 more downloads. So he can find those.
A little short.
He's just a little short.
He'll get there by Wednesday.
He's a little engine that could, all right? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
He'll get there by Wednesday. He'll get there by Wednesday big time.
So is it fair enough to say we could put a bow on this and just say this guy's completely lost his fucking mind?
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is this. I kind of feel bad for Stevie Ray because I feel like this dude is manipulating him a little bit.
I was going to say, who do you feel more bad for, Stevie Ray or Mr. Producer?
I feel bad for anybody that's trying to get a production credit from working on that show.
Oh,
that's how I feel. If I really have to think, if I have to think of the real victim here, it's the guy who's interning on that show thinking he's getting a production credit.
Oh, wait, hold on. Flange is saying he's got 64,000 YouTube subscribers. How many of those have come as of recent?
No, is it the title match? So
I'll tell you, that guy's got terrible eyebrows too. Oh,
what's it? What's the name of the show? Something Stand Up for Greatness?
Well, which one are we talking about? Title match wrestling?
Yeah.
Is it title match wrestling?
Yeah. He's got 64,000.
That's what somebody in the chat's saying. 64,000 YouTube subscribers. Yeah, and he does legitimately have 64,000. But
okay, we're still a little short on the 32 million though.
Yeah, we're a little short. And not all of this is podcasting.
Right.
A lot of this, some of this is title matches. Some of this. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go. I have a little fun. Here's a little fun thing. If you ever want to see YouTube shit, you guys can just contact me because I have TubeBuddy. I get it through my MCN, so I can actually fucking dig into his analytics.
I want to dig into the analytics of Matt Tubolowski's eyebrows. They're fucking horrifying.
I don't know if there's many of those.
Dude, he looks like a fucking retarded Steve-O. And that's, you got to really go, he does. He looks like if Steve-O was a newscaster.
So when was this stuff said about DT?
About last week.
It was like September 11th-ish?
September 8th.
September 8th. Oh, September 8th. So his channel was on the downfall. His channel was plummeting. Holy shit. I'm looking at his subscriber count.
How many subscribers did I inadvertently give this guy?
Well, okay, so his subscriber count was falling, basically, all the way up until September 8th.
Wow.
Where he gained 100 subscribers, and then the 9th he gained 89, 10th 108, the 11th 103, the 12th 110, 98, 14... I'm sorry.
34 subscribers.
106, 101 on the 15th, and now he's down falling again. He's only gaining 7. He gained 74 the 16th, 64 the 17th. So I think he did this for a fucking spike.
Yeah.
He sees his channel going into the shitter, and what's the easiest way to fucking drum up some business? Fucking attack someone.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, maybe we all took the bait, right?
It's very possible. I'm just saying, if nobody says anything, do his numbers spike like that?
Oh my god!
Maybe we all took the bait.
I'm reading the chat. I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm reading the chat. Mish is in there cracking me up.
Hopscotch for greatness. Jump rope for greatness.
Indian style for greatness.
Yeah.
Do the Macarena for greatness.
Ooh, do the Macarena for greatness.
I'm stealing that one.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Do the Macarena for greatness. That one I like.
Let's
yell at the clouds for greatness.
Seeing this guy's like fucking. I'm looking at some of his videos. He's ripping videos off from other people.
Yeah, we know.
He's got stuff from the art. What is it? The RF.
Of course he does.
They got a lot of the. They do a lot of the RF video. Thank you. They do a lot of the shoot shit.
Of course he does. That doesn't surprise me. That I'm not surprised about. Was I surprised?
His record.
And what's funny is those are the largest viewed videos on the channel are the RF video stuff.
Yeah. I mean, look, bottom line, he's a troll. Booker T. I did it again. Jesus Christ. Stevie Ray, I think you need to get some help. Really, like I do. I think you need to accept that you got less days in front of you than you maybe think you do. And if this is how you want to, be in the industry with people, it's a shame because I was a fan and I love you, brother. But you owe my family an apology. Period. You owe my family an apology. I will not back down to you in any medium, any way, shape, or form. Good luck with your 32. I mean, I know you have an army of 32 million behind you, which is basically, you have the GDP of Peru behind you. But but this dude is a shit talker. And if you were so righteous, why did your other guy, the guy who carries your brother's bag around, why did he fold like a cheap shirt last night? With very little effort, by the way. We took that dude out with 10 tweets. So, you want to keep it up, keep it up. But, other than that, I'll tell you right now, I'm very happy. I went to bed in the middle of the night being like, man, we got a lot of good people around us. Like, holy shit. Where were you guys when I tried to have a music career? Fuck. My life would be very different right now.
God. Try again.
I'm too old, man. I'm old.
No, you're never.
I know
too
how
old
old I am. That's the difference too.
You're never too old.
I know how old I am. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's the difference. I know I'm an older cat. Like when I know I'm an older man, there's certain lines I don't fucking try to paint myself in because I'm an older cat. You know what I'm saying? Like the world, it's a young person's world, bro. I don't care if you have 3 kids, no kids, AIDS of the face. It's a young person's world. The whole world is. The world today is literally revolving around young people in every way, shape, and form, and that's the way it's always going to be. You know what I mean? They may not control the world, but they certainly have enough influence, where the way things go in entertainment, in medium, and that's the problem. It's funny. You just presume older people because they kind of make the call the shots or whatever. They just kowtowing to younger people. You know what I mean? That's why we have Roman Reigns. That's why the most downloaded fucking thing in the history of the internet isn't 2 girls in 1 cup. It's the fucking it's Gangnam Style. You know what I mean? Like this is young people's culture. It's a young person's world, and that's the thing. People like Stevie Ray and myself, maybe Don Tony, maybe my brother. Who the fuck knows? It's hard to admit that, to be like, wow, younger people this medium is a younger person's medium. Shit. Podcasting is really a younger person's medium. You know what I mean?
Never gonna be able to sleep.
You guys don't think so? You guys don't think that?
I would like not to.
It is though.
Considering I'm no longer the young man. I mean, I guess in this depends on how you look at it. Because I guess in this, I am one of the younger guys doing a podcast out there at 30. Right. So
yeah, you are.
No, but you are young so hard.
But it's your medium. I mean, this is your medium. Like, sure. I'm not in we're not in the same things are not marketed to me that are marketed to you. There's nothing in life that is even as parents, there is nothing in life that is marketed to you that is marketed to me. Nothing. Not a single thing. not a grape on the floor in the supermarket we will not be in the same market.
Because I was gonna argue it until I was like, well, I mean, when it comes down to the wrestling podcast, I actually am. I'm one of the younger guys. So I couldn't even argue it at that point.
Well, wait a minute. Jason's 34, right?
I'm 30.
You're 30, but Jason's 34, but he's been doing this for a long time.
Sure.
But Jason's 34. I'm trying to think of who has a big podcast. Well, there's probably a lot of people, but I just don't know them. You know what I mean? They're doing fine without me.
Sure.
But I think Jason's 34, but Jason also, I mean, it's funny, Jason has the reputation and the career in the industry that these guys try to portray themselves as. Mm-hmm. I see Jason's interviewing major people. Jason's got an impeccable reputation. Right. Jason never trips up. I never hear Jason have to apologize, ever. And now I'm not saying Jason's an infallible person, but I'm saying he's a professional person. And, he's done a lot in the medium. He's got great numbers.
Very articulate.
Yeah, smart guy. Jason does a poll, and he's got like 16 to 20,000 people voting in it. We don't got those numbers.
No.
I would love to have those numbers if we did a poll. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jason's interviewing everybody. He's going to 2K launches. You know what I'm saying?
Interviewed Nakamura.
Cena, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but look at his reputation. There's people that might not like his show, but they don't disparage him personally.
No,
they don't come after him. What could they come after him with? They don't like that he does a show by himself. I mean, what's his crime?
Yeah, everybody. So unsub from this channel and go over to Jason Solomon.
Well, he recorded already. See, he's in the afternoons. He's in the afternoon.
Yeah,
he's already.
I love Jason. What's funny? And I said this to Jason a couple times. I never met Jason. We grew up probably 10 blocks from one another, 10 years apart in a very particular neighborhood in Brooklyn that everybody in that neighborhood kind of knows each other. And we don't know a single mutual person. It's very
really?
Not a single.
That's very odd.
Not a single one. Even my wife was like trying to see if she knew anybody that knew him. And she was just like, because he has a very common last name in that area.
Hey,
And
Julie, I know today's critical, but I really need
Sorry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I love Jason's show. I think Jason's show is great. You would think that other show was like Jason's show, but it's not. Jason doesn't take anything from other people's gigs or anything like that. And he's good with he interacts with his people on the internet. I will say this: his Facebook page, people hijack it a little too much.
They do.
And I think he knows it. I don't think he would be offended by that at all. I would love to see him maybe get somebody to monitor that a little bit better.
Yeah, get an admin for it to really lock it. Clean it up.
I'm surprised. I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised he doesn't have somebody monitoring that a little bit better. That's actually a big shock to me because he's very particular with his brand. But that's not really a reflection of his brand. The Soul Monster Sounds Off page, he'll let anybody post anything on there. And I'm sure within reason he'll take some stuff. But I've seen very insane conversations on there that have no business on there many, many times. And it's like a K-hole of insanity that goes on. It's like the same 5 or 6 names, too. It's like the same 5 or 6 dudes.
All trolling.
All trolling. All clickbaiting, race baiting. And I can, Jason is just so not that dude. It's so fun. Like, he's just so not that guy to have that on his webpage.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we could put Mancow to rest and talk about the brain.
Well, I was going to go into this real quick first before we go into Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Sonny's new podcast?
Sonny's got a voice for audiobooks in fucking hell. I mean, if there's audiobooks...
What do you mean, John?
She's the third sister of Marge Bouvier. Yeah. She's like Thelma and what was the other sister's name?
Selma and Patty.
Selma and Patty. Yeah, she's Sonny, Selma, and Patty. She's. I mean, who? Now let me ask you something. What poor son of a bitch is carrying the water for Sonny's podcast?
That's what I was wondering.
Who's her Igor?
I cannot imagine. Oh.
Can you imagine getting that call?
If you listen to that, you're going to get ear AIDS or something.
Dude, can you imagine getting that call?
Ear AIDS?
Ear AIDS of the ear. It's a real thing, my friend.
Ear gonorrhea? I don't know.
You get ear herpes.
I'm not listening. Oh.
You can get herpes in your ear. I'm pretty sure you can get herpes in your ear. Don't ask me how, but I'm pretty sure. I mean,
there's ways. I mean, I could draw you a diagram if you need.
You may have to. Dude, can you imagine Sonny's podcast?
What is it going to be titled?
Come on me with Sonny.
I was going to say either that or please follow me on Skype.
Don't come in me with Tammy Sitch.
What
do you mean you need 2 condoms with Tammy Sitch?
You need a hazmat suit.
Yeah. What do you mean I'm the outbreak monkey with Tammy Sitch? Dude, I met her in the late 90s, her and Missy. I have a picture in my garage. I should post it. I'm a little bit of a chub in it. I should post it, though. I met her at one of those FMW, whatever the fuck things, or whatever it was called in Queens. And me and my friend went. She looked pretty good, man. This is in late 90s. She looked pretty fucking good. I'm not going to front.
Yeah.
I always wanted to bang her. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I wouldn't do it now, but I'm just saying, anybody my age that's been around wrestling that didn't tell me that they wanted to hook up with Sonny is lying.
They are lying to your face. Yeah.
Do you remember when she was the shit?
I remember when Missy was banging.
Oh my God, Missy's body was from hell.
Remember those WCW pay-per-views? With Jesse was the color guy.
Yeah, she was doing commentary.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh.
She's falling out of her blouse. This is before Botox and surgeries and multiple hep scares, I imagine. Missy was the shit.
Yep.
Oh my God. I crush on, I'll tell you something. I'm so old. I fucking had a crush on Missy when she was with Hollywood John Tatum in UFW. Okay.
Got her start.
That's a long motherfucking time ago. But Sonny was always I always had a thing for Sonny when she was Sonny. And, to know that I probably could have banged her at some point in my life destroys me. Because I could have probably got her maybe only about 40,000 cocks in. I mean, now she's, what? She's got 32 million. 32 million dicks.
Oh, She
couldn't. I wouldn't even kiss
Shawn
her on the
Michaels
cheek.
come
I
from
swear
her-
to God, I wouldn't even kiss her on the cheek. I'm not even joking.
I don't want to be within 5 miles of her, let
You
alone.
could smell the AIDS on it. Like
You
you
can
could smell.
smell the.
You could smell AIDS. Her fucking dude. Her aroma of choice is AIDS de toilette.
I just could see you going. I'm sorry. Is that
Is
AIDS?
that AIDS? Is that AIDS?
Now, will
I
she
would
start
not-
on the show? I wonder.
Let me ask you a question. In 2017, if you could bang Missy or Sonny, you had to take one of those bullets. Who would you take? I would take Missy. Not gonna lie.
Missy.
I would take Missy. I don't care. And I know she's a little overweight now. I would take Missy. Sonny is just so poison to me now.
I don't know what Missy looks like now.
I don't want to know. Please don't ruin it for me.
I
I
don't
it's
know
bad.
what I don't know what she looks like at the moment, so I couldn't tell you who I'd take.
No, but you know enough about Sonny to know it's a no-fly zone. I mean, come on.
That's a journey I'm not willing to take.
Dude, F, marry, kill. Sonny, Missy, and who's the third wheel equivalent of that? Who did you say? Who do you think's in that
I
world?
don't know. I'm looking at a few of these pictures, and I don't.
There.
Paige?
She's working her way there.
Paige is 25 years apart.
Exactly. So I don't know who's the other train wreck. Who's our
Who,
third?
like, who else would you put in that Sonny Missy category? Who's like the unholy?
I'm waiting for him. 40,000 cocks sounds like she needs an oil change. She needs a
Dude,
lot
she's
more
had
than
a
oil
lot.
change.
I can't even imagine her. Like, there's probably so many things going on down there. Like,
No.
I can't even imagine. I can't
Well,
even imagine.
John, for only at like $100, you can get 10 minutes of all the Sonny you want, fully nude.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I couldn't do it.
There's
I
money.
couldn't do it.
Well
Can
spent.
I? Well, I said this on the soup. Can I fuck her in a time machine?
Yeah, I don't know who else you'd put in that category though anymore. Sable?
I mean, they are not the. No,
No,
that's
no.
not fair. It's not fair. That's not fair. She's been wifed up for 20 years, whatever
This
the hell
is
it's been.
true.
Come on, not fair.
But she's been.
Who else?
She's being
Who's been
plowed
passed
by
around?
Lesnar.
Who's been passed around in the industry like that?
Teddy Hart says Lita. I
CM
don't think so.
Nah.
CM Punk.
CM Punk's wife? No.
No.
See, I mean,
fuck.
age
Who's
wise,
who the
her
fuck? I'm trying
banged a
to.
lot of dudes in the industry.
Who was the one that was a giant whore just a few years ago? I can't remember her fucking
Kelly
name.
Kelly?
Kelly. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Can you
she's
add
still a lot
her in
younger.
there, or is just not old enough?
She's not old enough.
Not old
If
enough.
we added 10 years on her, she's not old enough.
Yes,
but
it has
she's-
to be a
she's-
woman.
Yeah, it's got to be a chick.
Yeah, I don't. They're asking, does it have to be a woman? Yeah, it has to be a woman.
Who
Can't be
was
a
in
man.
there? Who was in their wrestling vixens thing that they threw in there?
That was Missy and Sonny.
But they added some other broads.
Was it?
Was it? Did they add the
Oh,
kimono girl? They added.
Terry Reynolds. Here we go.
Oh, okay, that's very fair. Very fair. Okay, now we got
Terry
a game.
Reynolds? You think that's fair?
I do, dude, she fucked New Jack.
New
Come on.
Jack.
She
Oh,
fucked New Jack, and he didn't have a gun to her head. Yes, I think
okay.
that's fair.
Well, that's fair enough
She
then.
did it willingly. Yeah.
I didn't
I
know
mean,
that. I didn't know
she
that
really-
was.
She was in a willing relationship with New Jack for years.
She
Okay.
consented to having sex
With
with
New
New
Jack.
Jack multiple times. Think of that statement floating through your brain. It should make your brain blow up, for Christ's sake.
I mean, again, it's nowhere near the mileage, but we may have to throw her in there. We may have to.
I'm looking. We got Tracy Taylor.
I'm picking Terry though. Still on there.
I don't know who Rain
Oh, I don't-
is.
Rain?
Rain, yeah, she's another one. I just looked up the
I
wrestling.
know they
vixens.
added another wrestling vixen girl back in the day. I just
Jeez.
can't remember. There was a third girl rounding it out. She was ECW-ish.
Here we go. Tylene Buck, Major Guns.
But she was a porn star.
She's been passed around though.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
porn
Yeah,
stars
maybe.
get passed around.
Yeah, but that's their job. That's like being mad at the milkman for bringing you
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah, that is her job, and she applied for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
probably got-
I can go with Terry Reynolds after finding out the whole
I
New
think so.
Jack thing.
Yeah. It's hard for me to shake that. gotta
It
be
takes
honest
one
with
sick person to be like, ha! Didn't that guy? Did he not get convicted of
you.
murder?
I don't even know. Is he?
No.
Yeah, he killed the dude.
Mass trans. Yeah, mass trans. You can get convicted of it though.
Oh, he
He
didn't
get
get convicted. Well, either
Just
way,
Killed the dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
After that, you'd be like, yeah, I'd let him stick it in.
No,
Why not?
Beulah.
Who?
Someone in the chat just put Beulah. I'm like,
No, she got wifed up. Fucking
Dreamer.
Dreamer wifed her up 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Francine?
From American
she-
Dad?
Francine from ECW.
Oh,
I've always heard she's really like subdued outside of wrestling.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a long time. Or Dawn Marie or any of those chicks.
Yeah.
Dawn Marie, no, I can't. No, I guess Missy and Sunny, they don't really have a third running buddy like
they really
that.
don't really have a third wheel that are on that same level.
Yeah, so we just have to kill them both, and we can't play after I
Just kill them both.
Just kill them both.
Goodbye.
Please.
I still would take Missy over, and Missy's so annoying, and she also has the smoky the cigarette voice.
Well, she
And
looks
banged
like
Justin-
she's had a lot of facial work done.
I know she has. She's an advertisement for Botox, but it's just like in their prime, that's a whole different conversation. It would be hard to turn down Sunny in any prime. Sunny on the cover of WWE magazine in the mid '90s. Yeah,
It's old. So
good. Oh my! She could have been on Sports Illustrated level. Like she was that good looking. And you know what's crazy is that like she could, if she was just a together enough person, she could have rode that for so many more years. You know what I mean?
she was
Like
still loved.
she could have rode that for a while. You know, she really could have really banked some. She could have banked something off of that. And it's a goddamn shame she got in her own way. And Candido, and what a mess that was, Gav. Terrible story. Terrible.
Well,
story.
did you watch SmackDown this past week?
I did, yeah.
What was the deal with the Candido family being in the front row?
I honestly don't know. I'm not
Okay.
that. I don't.
Sound.
I know people that are very close with the Candidos just from being an East Coast guy, a tri-state guy. But like, I know his brother's pretty active with just about anybody. Like, you know, he's pretty. I think the brother that kind of keeps everything alive for him on the internet. Supposedly, I've heard nothing but amazing, nice things about that guy. And like, he'll talk to any of the fans.
I saw them online when I was watching. I was like, the Candido family. I'm like, I wonder if there's any relation. And I wasn't,
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. No. I
because
think
the
it's
Candido just doesn't seem like a very.
Well, first of all, his real name and his work name are spelled differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't recall if it was his work name or his real name. So it's the spelling is different. So it's slightly modified for whatever reason. It just is. I don't know enough about him to know why. But his real true blue name and his work name are modified vowels. So it could be Candado. You know what I mean? Like one of those kind of things.
Got it.
That I know. So it might just be a coincidence, but yeah, that's a shitty story. I watched the brother's little mini documentary. It's sad. I didn't realize I know so many people that knew him in the really real world. I felt kind of bad about it afterwards. You know, because I never thought he was that great of a talent, but apparently I don't know what I'm talking about because everyone says I'm stupid whenever I say that.
I really did not honestly get much chance to watch it. To be honest with you, I'm too young.
Well, I mean, you could find him in 2 seconds on the internet.
Oh
that's
yeah,
for sure.
well, I'm sure I could find him on the network as well. I'm
Oh,
sure it
yeah.
won't take too much, to
There's a
to
body
find
count.
something.
His story really sucks. I mean, his story is it's such a cautionary.
Well, I
tale.
listened to the Pritchard show on Sunny, and they went into Candido quite a bit, and you can't even coming from a third party, you're like, oh, you can't help but feel for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, they were high school boyfriend and girlfriend, man. I mean, like, this really, like, that was his chick. And, like, there's a lot of people that feel like that was his undoing for his whole adult life. I mean, and again, there's two sides to every story. I know he wasn't a perfect guy, but Sonny's podcast, to be perfectly honest with you, I think that's just the silliest thing. And it just goes to show you how many Igors there are, how easy it is to be a fucking Mark and an Igor to anybody in this business. You know what I mean?
I'm just wondering if this is like, oh, maybe I don't have to take my clothes off on Skype anymore.
Nah, she's making money doing it. As long as she can make money doing it, who cares?
I don't
$100 for 10 minutes.
I was going to
Not
say,
gonna
with her
turn down
price,
money.
yeah, but with her prices, how many people you think are biting on this?
Even if it's a handful of people a week, could still pay some bills, right?
I guess.
So 5 guys do it a week. It's a full-time job.
Yeah, fair enough.
Full-time job for as long as it takes to have a
I
sandwich.
can't believe that's actually 5 people would do that. What is wrong with you people?
Dude, it's nostalgia.
I
Well,
know.
that's what I'm saying. It's if you get to fuck Sonny, you fuck Sonny. I said this on the podcast a couple of years ago. I was just like even Joey was telling me, like, he knows a bunch of dudes that fuck Sonny.
Yeah.
He's not gonna say who they are, but he knows them. And I'm like, because you fuck Sonny. If I'm a young guy in the industry and Sonny's doing an indie show and I got a chance to fuck her, I'm totally fucking her. if I'm a young guy in the industry,
Absolutely.
and I'm not like hooked up with anybody, shit, that she's got a Hall of Fame vagina. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if that vagina could talk, my God, the stories it would tell.
Say just
And
think,
I'm not, and I don't know that vagina doesn't talk. It might actually speak.
it's totally fully animated.
That vagina smokes its own brand of cigarettes.
That vagina is the almighty Sarlacc from Return of the Jedi. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying. No. Look, I'm a married middle-aged dude. To fuck Sunny now, no, thank you. But if I was a 20-something-year-old wrestler working an indie show and I knew who she was and I saw pictures of her in, Raw magazines or something, even if it was recently, because I'm working a show with her and I go, oh my God, this girl was she was the original behind that other one model. She at one point was the most downloaded woman on the internet. Yep. She was the most downloaded woman on the internet in the advent of the internet. Okay. You fuck her if you can fuck her, because you will die saying, yeah, it was maybe past her prime, but I had sex with the most downloaded woman on the internet. I mean,
not only that, just think about the laundry list you just added yourself on to.
Dude, I heard if you're an indie guy and you fuck her, and I don't know if this is true because I know a little bit about the industry, obviously, but I heard if you're an indie guy and you fuck her, the next time you go to get in the ring, you have 3 new moves that you didn't have previously.
I'm just saying, you get to add your
Take
name
it with a
on
grain
the
of
list.
salt.
Shawn Michaels.
I heard you immediately have an impeccable drop kick.
And you can go down zip lines and
yeah, dude, like you have 3 moves. You have 3 new moves at the very least. But yeah, her podcast. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be playing it for fun on the show.
I'm sure you will be, and so will we.
Something tells me even if I don't want to hear it, I'm gonna hear it.
Well, we've been dying over here to have a segment where we just make fun of Sunny every week.
Oh, that's cool. You should do that.
Well, yeah. We are, but we never really had enough content. We had to wait for her to do something stupid.
Oh, you can't be serious. I thought you just said.
No, I wanted to start a Sunny segment.
We're gonna do a Sunny segment, yeah. But like when she went to the hospital because she tripped and fell or whatever it was, and then the doctors wouldn't let her out. Yeah, we got a whole drop and everything all ready to go.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
But the problem is that we got to wait for her to do dumb things. Now that she's making a podcast, she's going to do dumb things on a weekly basis. Yeah. So we're really excited for that.
You guys may have to do a spin-off show.
She's providing weekly content now.
Yeah.
I think this lasts forever.
Yeah. You guys are in for a windfall. You're going to do great.
We're excited. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the tragic news of Bobby Heenan's unexpected. Well, I can't say unexpected. Bobby Heenan's passing today. He had obviously been suffering with cancer for some time. Was that the cause of death? Ended up being cancer?
I have to assume. I have to assume, yeah.
Obviously, he was missing like half his jaw. He was not looking good.
Yeah.
So
really terrible.
It's one of those things where I gotta be like, oh, it's sad, but at the same time, you gotta be like,
yeah,
I
feel what you're saying, man. Like I'm just kind of like, I'll tell you guys a story. I don't think my brother's ever told this story before. So in maybe 85, 86, my dad was working at Midtown Manhattan, and he would come home from work every day between like 5 and 6 o'clock, and he'd do like the whole routine, say hello to everybody, take a shower, and then we'd eat dinner, right? He comes home, this is like maybe 84. I want to say it's 83, 84. And I'm in grade school. My brother's, I think, a freshman in high school. And he comes home and he goes, get Kevin. And he pulls out this piece of paper, and it's an autograph to Kevin from Bobby Heenan. My father hated wrestling. So my father said, this is the strangest thing. I'm walking down the street in Manhattan, and I see this gentleman waiting for a cab, and I recognized him from TV. From wrestling. And I said, hey, aren't you that guy from wrestling? And he goes, yeah, I'm Bobby Heenan. And he sticks his hand out, and he goes, oh, my sons love you. And he goes, oh, that's great. He goes, where are you going? You want to get a drink? You having supper? You want to get something to eat? And my father goes, oh no, I'm going home to my kids, but if I can get a piece of paper, I would love to get them an autograph. He goes, oh, that's great. He goes, do you need a cab? Do you want to split the cab? I'm going this way. And my father just couldn't believe how impersonable he was, because he's seen him on TV being such a bad guy. And he wrote a thing for Bobby the Brain and gave. I don't know if Kevin still has it, but my father said he was such a nice man. And I remember I was at grade school, And I was so mad at my father because I was like, Dad, he's a bad guy. Like, what? You met a bad guy. He's a bad guy manager. And my father was like, they're all friends. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, you don't know what you're. I remember fighting with my father, and I was mad that he met the bad guy manager and not somebody cool. Hand to God, I remember my father being like, he immediately was like, do you want to get some dinner? Hey, my treat. Why don't we go get something to eat? And my father could not believe how nice he was, because he's used to seeing us watching him on TV being an asshole.
Right.
But, you know, my dad was savvy, and my dad took us to wrestling, so he was savvy, you know. But, like, I wonder if Kevin still has that. I really hope he does. I really, really hope, because he used to save all his shit, so that would be awesome. So I just think about that. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, that's...
Sure.
You know, that to me is all I need to really think about. But I just remember I was mad. I was really, really mad. Because I was like, he couldn't have met like one of the good guys. That would have been cool. But he had to meet the bad guy manager. But I'll tell you, the one thing that sticks out to me is the WWE's, you know, just punches piloting their hands of his existence because of his appearance.
Well, they put it on the app. I got a notification saying that, you know, that Bobby passed away. I wonder how they're gonna give their tribute to him the next 2 days. Say something.
They got to do something. I mean, we're going to find out.
But
They'll do something, but it's gonna all be. It's not gonna be any recent pictures. It's all gonna be pictures of him back with Andre. You know.
What do you guys think of that? Like, do you guys think
I don't
that's?
like that.
I don't like it.
How they keep arms length away from him? They did.
They did.
That's not really for everything. For every cause they want to get behind and support. Boy, they don't help one of their own, do they?
Well, not if they not physically aesthetically pleasing. Clearly,
yeah. If you come out of Ringling Brothers, you know, looking like that, they want nothing to do with you then.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna look. I'm just gonna say it. He looked a bit much to be on television. Now that doesn't mean that he had to be on television to be a part of their community. There was plenty of things he could have done, even if it was just writing a blog on the website, like something. You know, do I think he should have been on TV looking like that? No, because I think it's not necessarily what I think, but I think, to me, I could see the issue with that. I could, because he looked visually. He was deformed. I'm not saying that to be a dick, but they don't have enough invested in him to do that. I think they could have, and clearly at that stage of his life, he didn't need to be on television. I saw him doing appearances and stuff like that, and it's kind of heartbreaking. As someone who grew up with this man, and I physically fucking grew up with this man in my home, okay? To see him look like that was upsetting. And you know what? It reminded me of was Roger Ebert, because Roger Ebert, my parents watched at the movies with Siskel and Ebert for years. And I knew who Roger Ebert was even as a little boy, because every Sunday they would watch the reviews of the movies. And then to see that's what he looked like towards the end when they had to redo his jaw. And he was on TV a lot, and I always felt that was a little bit unsettling. Not because you know what I'm saying? It's just, to me, I would like to, you know, you don't need to be on television that way. They completely acted like he never existed. It wasn't that he wasn't just on television. They didn't offer him anything. Like, they didn't do nothing, not even like a retrospective. I mean, they seldom did, and they pretended like he didn't exist because he was physically unappealing. And they're constantly telling everybody that your looks don't matter, that everybody's special, not to be a bully, be a star, unless you have a fake jaw and lower cheekbones. Then we have to take you off television for the rest of your life. But other than that, be a star. You know what I mean?
I'm just surprised.
But I think they're in a lose-lose. Sorry?
No, I'm thinking it's like, oh yeah, obviously his appearance wasn't the most appealing in the world, but at the same time, let's put on children that might not be alive next year at this time. Hey, roll them out there.
Yeah.
Go over there, Stephanie. Smile for them.
Yeah.
Sell
this
a T-shirt.
Might be the last picture they ever take. Yeah.
Right.
It might be,
Sell a T-shirt.
the last picture. Yeah.
It's
well,
sad.
I mean, but do you guys? Let me just play devil's advocate here. Do you think, from a marketing perspective, since no one would recognize him physically, and let's be honest, no one would recognize him if we didn't know. We would not know unless we knew. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So if you hadn't seen him in 10 years and you saw that, you would not know that is Bobby Heenan. Sorry, you just wouldn't know. So because they didn't have enough invested in what he looked like in that environment, and he wasn't physically capable of doing much looking like that, that they didn't want to create like some confusion to be like, well, is that Bobby Heenan? Because that doesn't look like Bobby Heenan. What happened to Bobby Heenan? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'd like to see them eat some shit for it. I'll tell you that. I'd like to see them eat some shit. Tomorrow, when they act like he was Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're going to act like they've, been, behind him all the way, in which they haven't.
Mm.
They're going to, if they kept, kept him, not, I wouldn't say relevant, but why couldn't he come out on the stage and just wave and then.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He didn't have to talk.
All you mention his name. Hey, this guy was managed by Bobby Heenan, or, old primetime wrestling clips, whatever.
Yeah.
They've kept so much distance from him that you're right, though, John. Some people aren't going to know who he is because of that, because of the distance kept, because of how he's been essentially a ghost.
Yeah.
All on their volition, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly were pressured by people wanted to see him. I mean, I wanted to see him, like he wasn't at Hall of Fames. And if he wasn't on television.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been nice to just have him at the WrestleMania weekends and do stuff. Look, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough situation. I know that it was shitty that the company that he gave a lot to as a person did not really stand up for him when he got sick. That I know. I feel confident and comfortable saying that.
You just made
that
the
they
list.
didn't do enough with. You know what I mean? Like I definitely feel like they could have done more. Here's a guy that worked for you that is associated with your product for a decade. And the product that you bought, by the way, that you folded into your monopoly, he was associated with that product too. So people are going to hear his voice. He was a manager. He was a commentator. He was a WCW commentator. I mean, like, you can't get you can't get around this guy. And, the last bunch of years of his death, they treated him like he had a disease because he had a disease.
And think of when the height of his popularity was say WrestleMania 3 with
Andre, yeah.
Andre, working with Piper, with Orndorff,
Kurt Hennig. He tried to get. They gave him to Flair to help Flair get over for the East Coast, for the Northeast people that didn't know that Flair was Flair when they brought Flair in that first run.
This is Ric Flair.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. But people
list.
You got to remember back then, because I remember that when they brought him in. Because they had just prior to that, they brought in Tully and Arn and called them the Brainbusters.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was
that.
like, they're the fucking Four Horsemen. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Even at like 13, I'm like, they're the Four Horsemen. Bobby Heenan had to get Ric Flair over. He had to because Bobby Heenan was a staple. He was the top heel manager. And you're going to give the top heel guy that you're calling a champion to the top heel manager. It would have been weird if Bobby Heenan didn't have Flair. They always gave him to everybody.
Because back then, during those times, if you were a heel, you had a manager.
Yeah, even if you could talk.
You were a part of a stable. It didn't matter if you could talk or not.
The family, the Heenan family, yeah.
Heenan family, what was Slicks? Just Slicks.
Slick, I don't know what Slick, what he called it, but Heenan was the family.
The Heart Foundation,
Foundation. Yeah, you had people. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dangerous Alliance, even WCW, the Dangerous Alliance, the Four Horsemen.
It was a stable. Heenan was a great commentator. I didn't love him in WCW, but I thought it was more about I hated Shivani. So you could have gave Shivani with Jim Ross would have been terrible. You know what I mean? But Heenan. It's sad the way the last few years they had to treat Heenan like that. That's all. It bums me out when I think about it.
Boy, I tell you what, the people we've lost in just more wrestling centric over the past 5 years. Piper, Dusty, Bobby now. It's sad. It's very,
it's a bummer. It's a bummer. I mean, this is a little different. He was very sick, and he clearly, he was in bad shape. I mean, he was in bad shape.
It's one of those things you can't. And I hate to say this, and it sounds bad when I say shit like this. But, I'll tell you, it's the same thing like with my grandma. My grandma was in bad shape when she passed. It's one of those things where you're like, yes, for me, personally, it's sorrowful. I'm upset. I guess upset would be the best word. I'm upset about it. But when you step into their shoes, it's almost like, you know what? Maybe it's better for them.
Oh,
Do you
I
know
think
what I
so.
mean?
I think so. I mean, when you look at how people had to live, my dad was around that age, slightly younger than that when he died. He had esophageal cancer, and my father had already lost the ability to eat, and he could never swallow food again. So now the only thing he could do was have food pumped into a tube in his through his side, through his stomach, and this is how whether he lived for a month or 2 years or
Yep. Did I
the
lose
time
John?
before, I'm sorry, before he got really, really sick, he was maybe in the 80s pounds, 90s. He was emaciated because there's only so much. He was basically just alive, and then he lapsed into like really sick, and you're just like, you know what? This needs to be over because there's no quality of life at this point.
It's a miserable way.
It's a miserable way to exist. And it's which we all know is very common with any form of cancer. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but to see poor Bobby sitting out there with his wife, signing autographs, of pictures that look nothing like him,
And especially given the
Nothing.
fact of what he meant for that company
Yeah.
during its high, besides the Austin time,
Right.
but, highest point of their popularity. It's just astounding of how they just treated him.
Yeah. And his crime was he got sick. I mean, there are people, and I don't know if you guys ever heard this.
It's called life. That's what it was.
There
Life.
are people that said that he was very, and this I think is bullshit, but there are people that said he was so critical of WWE during the WCW run that he almost made it impossible for himself to get back in the good graces. But we all know that is historically inaccurate due to the fact that everybody has done that.
Yeah.
Everybody has done that. So I don't know what he could have done that was so terrible that he couldn't be forgiven when everyone else is forgiven. When guys ranging from Russo to Bischoff got to come back, but for some reason, you're telling me that he had that kind of bad blood. I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, Bischoff, was carrying out orders from Ted Turner, was trying to put Vince McMahon out of
business. Yeah.
Business.
It's his sole motivation.
But that's okay to bring him back, but not Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, it's odd, right?
I don't understand that. I get lost in the logic there.
Well, I mean, and they forgive everybody. Everybody mends a fence, right? Vince has been accused of so many horrible things with so many people that a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later, they're hugging him and taking pictures with him. That should have been Bobby. I mean, I don't think. I tomorrow night when the hypocrisy starts, there's going to be a lot of people sitting at home going, "Man, that sucks. Like, why didn't they do anything with him before he died? Why didn't they do anything with him when he was sick?" But they're going to roll on, and they'll do it again the next day. And Michael Cole will pretend that Bobby Heenan was his main inspiration, which is not true. And and people who were alive or who know a little bit more about it than the average Joe will be like, well, let's face it, they didn't put this guy on TV because he looked because he looked uncomfortable. He had a physically unappealing look because of his surgery, and that's why they didn't let him go on television. You know what I mean? I never heard Bobby. I don't know how his widow feels about it. I don't really know. I know that wife was taking care of him to the day he died, though, to the second he died. Sad, right?
Totally.
Now I'm all bummed out, and I got to get off the phone here in a minute.
Oh no, I was gonna say Klaus is just saying, and yes, I know the camera went out. I turned the camera out because my wife is passing with my newborn, and her nakedness doesn't need to be on screen. So
what's your baby's name?
Liv.
Liv. What's her middle name?
Anne.
Liv Ann. I like that.
We named her. Well, there's a long story about why she's named Liv. Basically, it was a pissing contest between me and my wife over names we didn't like, and then we finally settled on one. And then we gave her the middle name Anne for my mom, who passed away last
nice.
March.
Wow.
It was one of those things
Now,
where like we're gonna do
was
that.
that baby? Now I'm gonna act like I know a lot here.
Okay.
Was that baby late? Your baby came late, right?
Kinda.
Because I remember you. Yeah, I feel because I remember you. What, like, was she due like at any moment? And then I think I remember seeing you post about it. Like it seemed like a long time after.
Yeah, legitimately, like we were in and out of the hospital waiting for
Right.
her water to break.
That's what it was.
For
Okay,
like
yeah, I knew I had some
2
recollection of
weeks.
this. Yes, thank you. Okay, I'm not.
It was
Okay, I'm not crazy.
awful.
It was literally like, no, baby.
It was,
I'm like,
oh,
wow.
we're going
I was
in.
like,
she's
Yeah.
she's leaking. We're going
Yeah,
in.
it's like-
And
it's
then
like we're
all of
going
a
in.
it was absolutely. I mean, it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back
Oh
and
my
forth.
god.
And
I don't know if
then-
I've told you this. My wife has been in the delivery room. I think it's over 200 babies now. She's she runs a breastfeeding program.
Okay.
But she's also worked as at a doula, whatever. Am I saying that wrong? A doula, like a midwife. type
Okay.
deal.
I was
So
gonna say like a midwife.
Yeah. No, but there's a doula, whatever. A
Okay.
doula, and so she runs a breastfeeding. So my wife has seen like hundreds of births, and I'm watching TV with her the other day, and my little one is trying to watch Total Bellas, and they're showing the Nikki birth or the Brie birth,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like kind of freaked out. And first of all, they're graining everything out.
Sure.
And she's staring at me like I am the biggest pussy like in the history of the universe. And she's like, I love that this is making you so uncomfortable when I literally have seen this like almost 300 times.
I don't
Like,
think
because usually, because like I see her like with a horror movie and she has to like leave the room, or if it's something like scary or whatever. And I'm sitting there watching this birth getting so freaked out, and she's staring dead staring at me like, you pussy. Like, you are the biggest pussy.
See, it's one of those things. I've had 3 kids now, and I've watched every birth.
Yeah.
No matter how many times I've watched it, I'm terrified.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
It is horrifying.
I'm sorry, it's
Not
horrifying.
beautiful.
No, there's nothing beautiful about
there is an error, like there is an element of terror. It's scary. I think it's a scary. I would much rather watch an Al Qaeda training video than watch
Well,
like a how to behead. I would much rather watch drug cartels chainsawing people than watch a childbirth. I get so freaked out by it. And again, it's not that there's anything wrong with it. I just personally, I can't, like, it freaks me out. I'm freaked out by it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are people that are freaked out by clowns. There are people that are freaked out by cats. There's something about watching natural childbirth videos. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Childbirth is John Draper's kryptonite.
You know what it is? It's my Pennywise the Clown.
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I look away. I was watching. I watched my daughter, my son, and both my daughters and my son come out. But after that, I'm kind of done. You know, that they're out.
Yeah.
That we've snipped.
I would be on the floor convalescing.
Like,
I'm
I snipped
waiting.
the cord. Which
there's
is
no chance.
that is a creepy ass feeling.
You have a better shot at me and Stevie Ray forming a tag team than you have of watching me cut a cord of my child.
Oh,
like,
it's creepy.
I'm not that dude. There's something about it that
it might be the part where the doctor puts on the elbow high gloves and just goes up there and gets it all.
Oh, I can't.
That part.
I can't do it.
Let me
It's
throw
not-
an
even on-
idea for you. Have you guys ever had a kidney stone?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Ooh,
Knocking on wood.
it's not fun. I don't suggest it.
No, I don't
No.
either.
And they say that it's the
Say that
same,
it's comparable.
comparable. Now, I've had it twice. I don't think so. I've watched the old baby come out, and I'm gonna go with the woman has it rougher.
Yeah, I just, to me, I'm just so, like, I'm not, like, honestly, I'm sweating right now. You can think about it. Like, my head, I'm honestly wiping my head with my left
Just
hand.
thought.
The sweat is pouring off my face. There's just something about it, and I think I know what it is, but I'm so ashamed to say it that I don't want to say it. But it's just like, it makes me never want to go. Like, I get worried that, like, you just ruined a perfectly good vagina for me. That, like, I was having fun. Like, I feel like you just, I mean, it's like, It's like I don't know if you have any friends that like vegans or vegetarians, but it's like
Yes.
I have so many, especially being from the music business, so many friends, especially middle-aged vegan vegetarian friends now. And I do I do a modified vegan diet like before 6, like religiously 5 days a week, and then after that I eat like I'm going to the electric chair. But I swear to God, I've had so many friends tell me meat has never been the same for me as soon as I saw a Slaughterhouse video. And I'm like, you know what's funny? Fucking has never been the same for me as soon as I saw natural childbirth. Because I'm just like, it's like, it must be what that's like. It must be. Because don't get me wrong, I don't want to watch a Slaughterhouse video any day. I never in my life do I want to watch that. I don't know if it would make me stop eating meat, but I'll tell you what, it would make me stop watching Slaughterhouse videos.
Oh.
Like that's the thing. I just feel like I'm so
That's the
touchy.
only result that comes from that.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm a huge Morrissey fan, and I'm like huge. And there's a DVD I got of his a few years ago, and then there's an extra 10 minutes of a thing called Meet Your Meat, hosted by Alec Baldwin. And I made the mistake of watching 30 seconds of this, and I wanted to burn my eyes out with acid. Like the horror in the 30 seconds that I saw. Did it make me stop eating meat? No, but it was fucking mortifying. Like it was just like I want to pretend that I live in a world where maybe you don't do that to animals for my benefit. Just like I want to pretend that maybe that vagina that I'm enjoying is not going to get that treatment by another living human being the size of a small football passing through it.
Trying to climb out of it.
Yeah, trying to climb out of it like some sort of fucking,
it all goes back to normal.
Not in my head.
No, it
not
doesn't.
in my mind.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't. And I know it doesn't. And the thing is, I know you're lying. That's the thing.
Just trying to make you feel better here.
I know you're lying. I know. But that's the thing, and I hate that part of me that I feel that way because it makes it. Because like my wife would probably drown me in my sleep, like if she heard me say, because like it's just like it goes against like her whole core, like her career, her belief system, her advocacy of like childbirth, and it's like I'm sitting here going, oh man, the vagina's never the same after that.
See, and what's crazy is the thought of them after they have first, second, third, they want more. There's some weird endorphin where they want more. I want more, and they want more, and I'm just like,
not at this address.
Well, maybe not at your address, but we agreed to have one more,
wow.
And that was Liv.
Oh god.
And that was we had to, and then we're like, all right, we're good. And then we agreed to have one more, and that was it. Like that was the end of it, right? We're done.
Yeah. Well, I can't even get her to get another dog at this point. So
I even offered. I was like, hey, the clinic's right across the street from the hospital. You're going into labor. I can run across the street, go see the urologist. Snip, snip. Couple minutes later, and some ice packs, and boom, we're done.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I might want one more. And I'm like, wait, excuse me. And I'm like, I love her. I love her enthusiasm. A for effort there, but I'm like, when it comes down to one more, I don't think so.
Oh, dude, I'm sweating so much from the last 5 minutes of this conversation. I swear, like I am literally like I'm wiping, I'm toweling, I'm using my hand as a towel.
That's your kryptonite, huh?
This is not good for me. But that's the thing is like I know that about myself in advance. Like I already know that that's weird for me. But if you could have seen me squirming where that 5 minutes of Brie Bella, like maybe it was like 2 seconds, and it's all blocked out and TV grained out.
Sure.
And she's dead staring at me watching it, like staring at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, I really don't want to see it.
Like this, John?
Yeah.
Don't you like this?
I'm like, I really don't want to see this. Like and she was like, excuse me. She was like, why don't you want to see this? And I'm like. And then Edie's acting up, and my wife has forced the kids to watch childbirth videos because that's like just her thing. And like she makes them watch it like sports highlights.
Like sports highlights? Are they all chopped up too?
Yeah, like she hosts it, like you know what I mean? Because she's
like Sports Center.
Well, because she's like, this is her gig, this is her career, this is what she does. So like for her, this is Tuesday, at 10:30. You know what I mean? So even like my little one was like, I know I've seen this a bunch before, but it doesn't mean I like it. Like, yeah, high five.
Just because I've seen it doesn't mean I like it.
I was like, she made them watch it young. She made them watch it like when they were like really young, because she wanted them to understand what she did for a living. You know what I mean?
I
It's
don't
crazy.
know if I could do that to children. I know Sophie wanted to be in the room, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
I don't think so. And she's like, but I
Oh.
want to see. And I'm like, but you really don't. I'm
No,
like,
you
just
don't.
trust me on this one.
You can't unsee that. You can't
Yeah, I'm
unsee
like,
that.
just trust me. I'm like, it's not, and everybody paints it as this beautiful, magical moment. And I'm like, it may be magic, but the beauty aspect, you might be over exaggerating on that. You brought your pen and paper.
Well, if you heard the side salad, we called it John Draper's on the right side of history. That's what this called it. Dude, did you guys hear that last night?
I did not, unfortunately. I listened to it all during the week.
Oh, you gotta listen to it.
Oh, I
it
will.
might be passe at that point, but like, dude, people were like, "Oh my god!" Like, people were sending me. I'm just wondering, they were like, "Dude, you are mad." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm mad. Of course,
And
I'm
I
mad."
think you, out of all, everybody has every right to be mad.
Well, that
I mean,
was
it's
Mish's
directly
thing, like,
targeting your family.
dude. Before we got on the air, I said, "Listen, I feel I need to, talk to you here a little bit." I'm like, because I'm really angry. And he was like, "Of course you're fucking angry. You don't have to tell me that you're angry. Of course you're upset. How could you not be upset?" And I was just like, I just want to make sure that that's cool. And he was like, "What, are you kidding? Of course." Like, because I was so worried about like maybe being a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I look. Let's see what happens Wednesday. I mean, if he apologizes, it's fine. Who's not saying anything about this? DT and KC. So, I think they've kind of moved off it early because they maybe knew better, or they just didn't care. Maybe they just didn't.
More class, John. More class. That's what it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's funny. It's funny. I said this to Mish. I go, I haven't talked to my brother about this at all. I haven't.
Well, and you know what?
haven't.
Again, look at the name that's targeting them.
Yeah,
Stevie Ray.
I know. He's.
I
tarnishing.
thought he. I can't have been the only one to think that Stevie Ray was dead. There has to be more out there.
We should do a poll.
Yeah,
We should do a poll.
throw up a
You
poll.
thought Stevie Ray was dead.
Dude, it was funny. Today, I didn't know they were doing the fucking shitbox today.
Mhm.
And then, wouldn't you know, in the middle of the shitbox, this guy starts talking shit, and then Joey just goes crazy. And I was just like, yeah, you got to listen to it. And Joey literally stops the show. And there was a kid who was doing a Patreon donor who, paid to be on the show or whatever. And he was just like, we'll have you on another time, blah, blah. And he goes, "Listen, Matt, here's the number for the show. Call in right fucking now. Call in right now. We will sit here and I will wait for you." And then Joey's like, "I'll hang up my phone if you need the line. Mish, I'll get off the call. Have him call in right now. Right now." And of course, the dude, didn't call in.
No,
Of course not.
I thought that, but if you get a chance to listen to it, it's a great show.
I'll more than likely be listening to it tomorrow when I'm at work. So,
All right, boys. Thanks for having me.
hey, thanks
you,
for coming on, John. We
We'll
appreciate
talk
it.
soon. I know, but we'll talk soon.
Absolutely, man.
All right, later.
All right, take it easy. Well, guys, it's another episode of The Ropes in the Books. I'm having issues over here, Kevin.
Me too.
Fucking Chrome took a dive on me again. I gotta maybe find a new web browser of some sort. Because Chrome just took a dive and I can't reopen it, so I can't technically stop the stream. So I'm sitting here waiting for Chrome to reopen so I can get back into YouTube so I can actually stop the stream. But I want to thank everybody who came out. I know a lot of you guys are... do I want to restore it? No. I'm not going to restore it. But I want to thank you guys all for coming out tonight. I know a lot of you guys aren't my usuals. And it's greatly appreciated for all you guys that have hit the subscribe button. But if you want the audio-only version of this, head over to Spreaker. I believe you can find it in the little section doobly-doo description down below. If not, I will put it there now. I know some people were asking for the audio-only version of it. So I'll get you guys the Spreaker link here in a minute. Once Chrome's done reloading back up. So it's always great to have John on the show.
Absolutely.
He is a fun cat.
And this all happened prior. We messaged John and said, yeah, well, let's see how things working out, toward the end of the week, and then
I find that funny is that we kind of like
we fell ass backwards.
Yeah, because we invited him on the show. And he's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden it was like, this happened.
Started.
Yeah, and whatever. You win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah. That's
So,
how I look at it.
thanks everybody for coming out. I'm stopping the stream again, audio only over on Spreaker. Once we go dead here, and actually, you know what? I'll put it in right now. There you guys go. There's the Spreaker. Go follow us over there. And we will see you guys. Was John? No, John's not an indie wrestler, Teddy. John is from the Wrestling Soup.
Yeah.
Or just Wrestling Soup. I probably shouldn't have added a the there. So, yeah, Wrestling Soup. They go live every Thursday. They're hilarious. Go follow them.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow for some Raw. I got to edit this bad boy up. We got to chop it up, get it all up over on the Spreaker, and I will see you guys later.